In the restless heart of Lagos, where neon lights never truly slept and dreams were often traded for survival,
lived a 22-year-old girl named Amara.
Good morning, respected elders.
Go well, Amara. Stay blessed.
by day, she looked like any other young woman chasing life. Simple dresses, quiet smile, soft voice.
The kind of girl elders would describe as well-raised. She greeted people respectfully, kept to herself, and never missed her early morning prayers. But by night, her world changed. Amara sold her body, not because she wanted to, because she had to. Amara lived in a small one-room apartment tucked inside a noisy street. The paint was peeling, the fan barely worked, but it was hers. Every morning before the sun rose, she would kneel beside her bed. "God, forgive me," she whispered daily, her voice trembling. "I'm trying. I really am." Beside her bed was a small Bible, worn out, pages marked, verses underlined. She read it every day. She believed in God deeply, and that made everything harder. At 19, life had been different. Her father fell ill. Her mother struggled. Bills piled up like a mountain that refused to move. Amara dropped out of school. She searched for jobs, shops, restaurants, offices, but everywhere she went, the answer was the same: no vacancy. Hunger doesn't wait for dignity. Desperation doesn't ask permission. One night, after 3 days without proper food, a friend introduced her to a way out. That night changed everything. She cried afterward, not because of the pain, but because something inside her felt like it broke. Years passed. Now, at 22, Amara had learned how to survive. She dressed modestly during the day. At night, she became someone else, someone she didn't recognize. Yet, no matter how dark her nights became, her mornings always belonged to God. She still prayed, still fasted, still helped others whenever she could. Sometimes, she would buy food for street children before feeding herself. People saw her kindness, but no one knew her truth. One evening, after a long night, Amara returned home exhausted. She sat on the floor, staring at her reflection in a cracked mirror. "Is this who I am?" she asked softly. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I love you, God, but I don't know how to leave this life." That day, she didn't sleep. Instead, she opened her Bible. Her eyes fell on a verse. "My grace is sufficient for you." She froze. For the first time in a long time, she didn't feel condemned. She felt seen. The next morning, something shifted. Not instantly, not magically, but quietly. Amara began to plan. She saved little by little. She started learning a skill, hairdressing, from a woman down her street. It was slow, painfully slow. There were nights she almost gave up. Nights she went back because survival still demanded it. But something had changed inside her. She no longer believed this was her final story. Months later, the same girl who once stood under dim streetlights now stood in front of a small salon mirror, learning how to braid hair. Her hands were still learning. Her heart was still healing. But her eyes held hope, not because her life was perfect, but because she finally believed. She was more than her past, more than her survival, more than the choices she had to make. And somewhere between her prayers and her pain, grace found her.